Monday morning, the 2nd of March in Chiang Mai. After a long travel of 24 hours and a 36-hour without sleep, I'm really lucky I'm now here because, I traveled through Dubai with a layover. I think if my layover was be like 3 hours later, I wouldn't make it to here because of all the things with Iran and Israel happening in the Middle East. So really lucky I'm arrived here. Yesterday on the Sunday, the 1st of March, I did like a little sightseeing in the city center. And now Monday morning, looking for the first work spot, looking for the first co-working. And yeah, keep it posted. Thursday, the 5th of March, walking now to a co-working, just listening to a video of Tibor Olgers, and he really gave me a great insight I want to share. If people are listening to your content, they never should think, so what? So what is in it for me? It's like, yeah, I went to this restaurant, I went to this pool, I had this holiday. So what? What's in it for the listener, right? And I do agree, like, of course, if somebody's maybe seeing my videos, like, okay, really nice look that you're in Thailand, but what's in it for me? So from now on, I really try with almost everything I do, share an insight, like what's in it for you, what I learned from it, what you can learn from it. So it can also be educational. On the other part, I really believe like, hey, I'm making this content for myself to put in the world to show my life. And also for my family and friends who just want to follow me. Please let me know in the comments, what do you think? Do you like to listen and check content in general to educate yourself? Or more to be entertained? Let me know. Wednesday, the 11th of March. In January, I read the book Buy Back Your Time from Dan Martell, and it really inspired me not to hire for growing the company, but hire for buying back your time. This inspired me to hire my first VA, which I told you a little bit about in January. He started in February, and now is March is the month to grow DEPLAY, to automate more, to systemize more, and to literally buy back my time. It's also the month of leadership. I'm now acquiring all the information about how to manage remote teams, how to gain growth with people taking responsibility and ownership of everything without me being or having to micromanage everything, right? Having this VA now, which I'm really grateful for, thanks and shout out to you, Derek, helps me to get more time, and also my colleagues who have now more time for growing instead of managing and fixing some tiny issues. And yes, especially if my more experienced entrepreneurial friends or people who I don't even know who see this video who have really successful businesses, they will think like, Luuk, what is wrong with you? You are having 5.5 years DEPLAY and now you're hiring your first assistant. This is just a realization and insight I got a couple of months ago. I think this is why second or third or fourth time founders are always way more successful and also faster successful, because literally all the mistakes they made in the first business, which is DEPLAY for me, they won't make in the next business. If there comes a day I will start a second or a third business, of course I will hire a VA faster. Of course I will automate and systemize things more faster, easier and more clear than we did in the last 5.5 years. Everything is in my head instead of, documented in systems. So I think with this step, we're really making progress. We're really systemizing everything, which is DEPLAY making a more valuable company, which can grow faster, smarter, more lean, even without me. So this is the goal for especially this month, something I definitely will adapt and change in maybe next ventures. But first, fully focus on growing DEPLAY. Now I'm in the mall in Chiang Mai, Thailand, and I'm really excited. Had a great day with lots of creativity. A good call with my mom, my dad, and hit the gym really nice. Afterwards, I had a call with a partnership manager, CEO, who's interested in DEPLAY and growing with DEPLAY for the marketing. So that can be interesting. And also had a call with my colleague Taiman, and we made a plan to hire a social media manager. This is obviously something we missed the last 2 months after our interns left last January. And now I'm so excited just to go on Upwork or LinkedIn to hire somebody, to find new talent, to give somebody a job and grow the company, of course. I'm so excited, and I really feel like an e-com or marketing or business geek right now. And have some dinner, and then I think a little bit working and late night. So really excited, really grateful, and this is my update. They say if you are the smartest in the room, you're in the wrong room. It's same with being the strongest, right? I just had the second Muay Thai class. This was an example of being the worst in the room, so I think I was in quite okay room. It totally exposed all my insecurities, shortcomings, and lack of strength and flexibility. But even though I was already like broken down in the first warming up, actually, I'm happy I went, and now I'm gonna treat myself on a nice massage. Okay, just had the call with the Rabobank, with the Dutch bank, which was, I would say, almost terrible. Actually, it was a great call. We had 1.5 hours of explanation, answering all the questions like almost perfectly and making it a really solid business case. And at the end, after 90 minutes, we heard from, I would say, conservative bank person that still the facts, numbers like solvability and banking terms are too thin, which makes him think it's still a risk. And I was like, yes, we already know this up front. This is why we answered all these questions, to make sure you have a solid case. And of course, there's always risk in every business, but still, you know, it's how to manage the risk and which plan you're going to continue to grow. And I got really frustrated at the end. I never see myself so emotional, because I was like, this conclusion or this statement you're now making, you already knew before. But you still wanted to have this call with me. And other colleagues of him said, Luuk, he's not going to take this call for nothing. We asked him, hey, but why did you jump on a call with us? And he said, yeah, because I prefer to have a good conversation instead of typing it for email. And I felt such a waste of time. And of course, it's not closed case yet. He still has to think about it, check internally with it. But I really believe, like, if we had like a more understanding person who has more feeling with modern businesses, online businesses, e-commerce businesses, this would never be the case. So really frustrated. I'm gonna call some other bankers and other people later, I think at 10, 11 in the night, where it's like 4 or 5 p.m. Dutch time. By the way, after the call with the bank, I had 3 really good calls with Team DEPLAY, with the media market, with another service provider, which are high energy. They really believe in DEPLAY. We're gonna do some business together. So I'm really happy that I could close the day on a positive note. Hopefully you can take some lessons out of it. Otherwise, I will come with some other updates. Okay. What we should not confuse is responsibilities and goals, right? For example, responsibility can be growth, but growth can be marketing, can be sales, can be traffic, can be ads, can be many things. And with it, within each thing you can have 500 small tiny goals. Tuesday 17th of March, and I just did a really good presentation with team DEPLAY. I really think that especially in like remote teams, it's really important to have some good structures with calls but also with responsibilities. And what I felt the last 5.5 years, DEPLAY is growing every year, like 25 to 35%, but still I feel like I'm the bottleneck. A lot of people asking me for permission or asking me, Luuk, what do you think about this? And with this meeting, I also want to set expectations for the rest of this year, but also making sure everyone takes even more responsibility than they're already doing right now. For example, with customer support, my colleague Naomi is really good in answering questions for customers. But with this call I had, I was like, you are also responsible of the customer happiness, which means Trustpilot reviews. So instead of me asking you, hey Naomi, the Trustpilot reviews went from 4.5 to 4.4. Can you make a plan to increase it? No, she is more proactively taking responsibility of it to grow it out of herself without needing to go to me or me having to ask her to do it. So really excited I did this. This is typically something like which costs time in the short term, but because we're all aligned, we all know what the goals is. On the long run, I really believe this will help us growing more fast, more pacefully the rest of the year. By the way, I also got really good feedback from a friend, and she told me, like in the first video in January, I went quite deep immediately at talking about all the details. Please let me know in the comments what you like to see, what you want to know more, because I can assume that sometimes you think then, hey, what is DEPLAY? What are you doing? Why did you start DEPLAY? What is your goal? Where do you want to be with DEPLAY in 5, 10 or 15 years? So please let me know in the comments what you like, what you maybe don't like, what your feedback is, and what you would like to see, so I can adapt and change and give more context about things. I do my vision of growing DEPLAY, make technology safe for kids, responsible and educational, change the school system literally. But of course this takes 10, 15, 20 years at least. Anyway, please let me know in the comments what you like, what you don't like, and what your feedback is. And of course, if you like it, please put a subscribe, because that's free. Thank you.